This is Elizabeth Skylar, and you're watching Tanya Tate Presents Skinfluencer Success Podcast.
This is Tanya Tate. Skinfluencer Success.
You are listening to Tanya Tate Presents Skinfluencer Success. How can you transition from a stay-at-home mum to embarking on a career in the adult entertainment industry and navigating an entirely new path to achieve success? Joining me next is a housewife who ventured into camming during lockdown, subsequently progressing from content creation to working with professional production studios and even earning her first award nominations. Welcome, Elizabeth Skylar, to the Skinfluencer Success Podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's great. I love that I've got you on, and it's so nice to meet you. I've got to tell them, because everyone's going to be listening. I'm not going to give too much information away, but we are now friends in real life.
Yes.
So we met. How did we meet, Elizabeth? Go on, I'll let you tell them. How did we meet?
So we met on Twitter. I hit you up and we started talking, and one thing led to another, and now we're friends.
Yeah, it is. It's so true. I have to say, Elizabeth, you are really kind with your tweets. I'm putting this before you find out who she is. I just want to get this out there. You are really kind with your tweets. You do a lot of retweets. I see you posting on a lot of people's different Twitter accounts. And actually, That's how we found each other, because you kept commenting really nice stuff on my posts. And I was like, hold on, who is she? Is she a fan or is she a performer? And, sometimes you don't know, and then I was looking, I'm like, oh, she's a performer. And I have to say, there were some of my fans that kept saying, oh, go and check out, go and look at Elizabeth Skylar, go and look at Elizabeth Skylar. Yeah. And then we found out that we lived in a similar vicinity.
Yes. Yeah, I'm not going to say where, but yeah.
And now we're actually gym buddies now.
Yes.
So some of them that are following us will actually see pictures of us. I mean, I have to say, we did a really cool little we did something the other day of us in the shower.
Yes.
And it was nothing biggie, but it was super cute. And it's on our OnlyFans. So if any of you that have missed it, you can go to both of our respective OnlyFans and be like, where's that cute Tanya Tate and Elizabeth Skylar?
I have to wonder if other people hear us and they're probably like, what in the hell is going on?
Do you know what? I think we're super quiet. It's like, I think we do it. We do it on the down low, you know. And I have to say, where we go, it's not always super busy, like the times that we go, we pick times when it's quiet. So I think we get away with it. I digress, Elizabeth. I was so excited just to get that out there.
Yeah.
So let's talk about you. So can you share how you first entered the adult industry?
Okay. So flashback to COVID. So COVID started, and I have two kids, and they were school was shut down. That was the end of that. And first they said a couple weeks turned into a month turned into a few months, and then it was just no one knew when they were going to go back. And so I thought, okay, well, my kids are not going to stay at home all day. I'm not going to do that. So I was actually able to find a daycare facility that was able to take them. Then that freed up a bunch of time for me, because gyms were closed. Everything was closed. And I'm like, okay, well, what do I do now? So my husband was like, hey, I think you should start camming on Chatterbait. I didn't even know what Chatterbait was. And I was like, oh, okay. And he showed me the idea of it, and I loved it. I really liked it. And so I tried it, and I was like, this is so cool. And so I started doing that. I did that for about a year under the name Triple D MILF. And then I stopped. I was like, eh. And then I started back up under Elizabeth Skylar. So then I started an OnlyFans because I had people asking me, do you have an OnlyFans? Do you have I didn't even know what an OnlyFans was.
Yeah.
And
so sorry, I'm going to cut in. So
yeah.
people that are listening or watching, so Chatterbait is a website where people, performers, models can go on and they can kind of sit in a chat room, and then fans come in. So the traffic is coming. There's a Chatterbait platform. And so your picture shows up on the screen. So fans can be like, oh, I like, click. And then they can come and join your room and they can chat to you. And then you make money by way, do they tip you?
They tip you. Well, a lot of people either have tip menus or goals, and it's like they're tokens. So you'll do tip me if you blank, 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 this amount of tokens, and then people will tip you. So I did that for a while. Started an OnlyFans.
So the fans are now asking you, hey, do you have an OnlyFans? So as you're sitting there on Chatterbait, do you have OnlyFans? Do you have OnlyFans?
Like, what the hell is that? And I kept telling my husband about it. I was like, what is this? So OnlyFans blew up during the pandemic because people were getting stimulus checks and there was nothing else to do. So I started an OnlyFans, and it wasn't kind of successful at first.
What do you deem is not successful? Do you mean you didn't have a lot of fans? You didn't have
I didn't have a lot of traffic at first.
Okay.
But I started one. It was like it was kind of a fun, creative outlet for me. And then in Chatterbait, there are like some top people in Chatterbait, and one of them was a couple named Jack and Jill. And so I reached out to them in the hopes that I could maybe go on cam with them. And I thought I would never hear back from them. And I did. And so in October of 2021 was when I did my first ever, can I say threesome on?
Yeah. Do you know, I've got to tell everyone, because I told right at the beginning, I said to Elizabeth, this is like really PG. We're going to be going, it's going to be going on all the platforms. It's going to be going on YouTube. And I try and make it like less graphic, because I think to myself, there's a time and a place. If you want graphic, it's not on this podcast. But you know, you can say threesome. I'm just talking about like explicit, you know?
Yeah. So that was a big thing for me, because that was going to be my first threesome ever. And it was going to be on camera with one of the biggest couples in Chatterbait ever. They get an extreme amount of traffic to their room. I was so nervous. I mean, literally, like if you look at the video, like back at the video, like you can see my hand. I was shaking.
Oh, did you have to go to them? Are they like in because we're in California right now. Are they in California or are they somewhere else?
No, they are in Las Vegas.
Okay. So you flew out to Las Vegas by
Yes.
yourself. You're like, oh, I'm going to go.
Well, actually, I didn't. So I was so nervous. I brought along my husband, and my husband was actually in the other room watching on another monitor.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
This is amazing, because this is like very supportive of you.
Yes, very, very supportive. He's my number one fan, I like to say.
I like that. That's so lovely. It's like you've also got the supporting factor, and you've got the safety factor as well, because let's be honest, you go in somewhere where you know that the top performers, you know that they seem to be, you know, trusted professional people, but there's still a little bit, if it's your first, number one, your first time doing a threesome, and number two, your first time that you're going to be on camera with other people, you want to make sure that you're safe, that you're, you know, you've got someone there that's got your back in case you're like, oh.
Yeah, exactly. I was just so nervous. I was like, you got to come with me. Like, you know, and like you said, like he wanted to go just to make sure that everything was okay. Jack and Jill are the nicest people. And I was so nervous. I always put this bad notion in my head, like always like, okay, what if this person's mean? What if this person's this? What if this person's that? And it ends up never being like that. Jack and Jill are the nicest people in the entire world. They're very welcoming. You feel comfortable with them right away. So I ended up having a great time with them. But they have a way of doing things. So I did 3 shows with them the first time.
Yeah.
So the first night was a get to know me night. No actual physical contact, no sex. And then the second night or the second day was an actual full threesome show. And then the third was also a threesome show.
Nice. So it's like a little build up. So that was nice. So are they, because there will be people that are listening and be like, oh, maybe I should start an account on Chatterbait or a webcam, or maybe I should like try and do what, duplicate what you're doing in terms of like reaching out to people. So is this for you? And this was like really a significant moment in your career.
Yes, it was a big deal. When the second we ended our first show, I logged on to my OnlyFans and I immediately had 100 new fans right off the bat. And I was like, oh my God. But ultimately I felt so good about it. Like I didn't feel like, oh my God, what am I doing? Like, oh my God. Like I felt like, I'm like, okay, this is almost, I know this sounds kind of cheesy, but it's almost like I was like, this is kind of like what I was meant to do. Like I feel so comfortable with it. Like it feels so natural and organic. And so I really loved it. I got addicted.
I like that. So this is, that's like the very first collaboration. And, I remember, I started in the industry in 2008. It was so long ago. So I didn't have to do all the self steps. For then it was like, oh, there's production companies. You just go to the production companies and they shoot you. And that's how you build your fan base. But you've been doing it a different way in that, you're starting off, you're coming. And then like you did a massive step by getting in a collaboration with someone that's going to like drive loads of traffic to you.
Yeah.
And suddenly like your fan base is exploded, based on the amount of traffic you had to suddenly this big amount of traffic that you were exposed to.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and I have done a few shows with them since then, a few more shows. And then I've also reached out to other people and collabed with them as well. Another big couple on Chatterbait is Blonde and Silver Fox. And I've also collabed with them. Great, fun couple. And I like that everybody that I've collabed with in the Chatterbait world is different in their own unique way. And it's always fun. And like, we'll be on cam for 6 hours and it goes by in like 2 seconds.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Is that 6 hours of action, or is that 6 hours of chatting and interacting with the fans and taking
6 hours
breaks?
from beginning to end? That's one thing that both Blonde and Silver and Jack and Jill have in common is it's like a build up. And then there's usually what they call a ticket show where you have to buy a ticket to watch the actual sex part.
Yeah. So there's a lot of online promotion and a lot of them getting to know you before they decide. It's kind of smart, isn't it? It's like we're looking, we're seeing the goods, and it's like, okay, we're gonna click. She's gonna go. We're gonna click, and we'll click.
Yeah, well, like they'll be like, okay, next goal, we take our tops off. Next goal, we take our bottoms off. Next goal, we do this. Next goal, we do that. So it's a good buildup. Very, very smart.
And I gotta ask you then, Elizabeth, because we both have an OnlyFans, and I've been known to do just a small number of live shows.
Yes.
And I know I'm fast forwarding a little bit here, but on my live shows, a lot of in the past, it's always been like a certain couple of like what we would call whales, someone that's very generous, generous fans. And I always find that there's just a very small number that will support the show, and that it will make the monetary value really high. And then you have these on the other side where a lot of them want to watch but don't want to pay.
Correct.
So now that I like this because it's like a little brainstorm for us, and it's, for people that are listening as well. So now that you've seen how the big money makers, if you like, on Chatterbait, the way they do live shows, do you emulate any of that? Do you do OnlyFans live shows, and do you emulate any of that there?
Honestly, no. I do only live shows very sporadically, very randomly, very like yesterday, or was it yesterday or the day before? I hopped on there for like 15 minutes, just said hi to people.
Yeah.
OnlyFans live is, I don't know, I take it as an opportunity to chat with my fans, have them get to know me better, and just kind of stuff like that. But one day I will do a show. I want to do a show that's similar to Chatterbait.
I wasn't going to do this, but what I am going to say, I did do a live stream the other day on OnlyFans, and I literally just jumped on, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to say hi. I'm going to say hi to everyone. And I literally opened the box, and on the box were my calendars.
Oh, I love it. So cute.
So my calendars, there's a lot of amazing pictures in there. And I literally just jumped on, and I said, you know what? I'm just going to jump on and say hi to them on OnlyFans, because it makes it more personable for them on there. And it just gives them a chance for you to just like see them and chat to them. And I have to say, I jumped on, and they were like so generous. And one of them actually bought one of the calendars where I'm going to be like signing it all over, because these are the ones that I've got. And it was really a lot of fun. And I was like, you know what? That was not pressure. That was not an action show. It was a chatting show. So I was like, I really like this.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's very organic. Yeah.
Yeah, it is very organic. And I'm going to have to say, because me and you at some point, we are planning something. We are definitely planning a collab. And I think maybe we should just go on and say hi while we're doing the collab. Like literally just say hi, because we're going to be focusing that day on getting actual content. But I think we should go on and say hi in the middle of the day sometime.
Yeah.
I would just put out there.
Oh my God, the fans would go nuts.
We are just a little live. Oh my goodness. Okay. So I love this. So you've got your Chatterbait, you've now got your OnlyFans. So now we started to see the transition of Elizabeth Skylar from amateur content creating to working with professional studios like Naughty America. So I want to know, how did you make that happen, and what were your initial experiences like on a professional set?
So I will have to say that I give a lot of credit to my husband. My husband is a big motivator for me. I actually tend to be very shy, and I'm afraid to reach out to people. And he's the one that has pushed me and said, what's the worst that could happen? Like, you reach out to him and you might not hear something back, but that's like, So I reached out to Naughty America, like I reached out to Jack and Jill, and I was like, hey, I would love to work for you guys. Again, thinking I would never hear anything back. And I was at a wedding in Dana Point, and I got an email back from Shelby Black, who is the director for Naughty America, that he wanted to use me in a shoot. And I was like, oh my God. So my first pro shoot was in July of this year, July of 2023. Yeah.
So. Amazing. So that's great. It's like when you said, like, your husband said, what was the worst thing that can happen?
Yeah.
You can say no. That's the worst thing that can happen. Yeah. What's the best thing that they can say? Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
You said yes.
I like to say poke.
It's like, hi, I'm here.
Well, someone said to me from Cherry Pimps, they were like, I love that you poke me, that you remind me, hey, I'm here. I want to work for you guys. I like that you poke me. And I was like, oh, I like that. I'm a poker.
Yeah. And I think so. This is, building up contacts and finding out, looking online to see who they are and, finding the contact information, finding a way to reach them. And it is because I remember I originally had an agent in the industry. He was not a good agent. He's since been, there's a lot of issues going on with him and his name. You can Google it. Derek Hay of LA Direct Models. Look up the labor board in California. He is not a nice person. And I will say it on the record. I will say it to his face. He was a bully. And when it came to women, especially a bully. And so we parted ways. It was actually an amicable parting way. Normally it'd make you pay thousands of dollars to get out the contract. For me, it was like, there we go. We are parting ways amicably. And then I was like, oh, I'm on my own. What do I do? Yeah. And so it's like, okay, well, I've been shooting for these companies. I know who they are. And I would literally like hit them up. And I added a little note in my calendar to hit them up like once a month.
I'm glad that I'm agentless and that I am kind of a free agent type of thing. Because I've just heard so many nightmares from so many people in this industry about, I'm not going to name names or anything like that, but I just constantly hear issues. So I'm like, okay, why not just go out on my own? And they're not taking a cut, so I'm getting all the money.
It's smart. Here's the thing, agents, there's good and bad points to agents. First of all, there's good and bad agents.
Yes.
And every agent has its pros and cons. And different types of people work better with different types of agents, whether it's your personality, whether you got personality match, whether it's the type of bookings that they get for their talent. Some companies might get a lot of bookings for MILFs, or, like some might get a lot of bookings for more hardcore extreme acts. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of differences there, but there's also, you can do it without an agent, and you are a perfect example of that. You're a self-starter, you're professional, you're consistent. I can see that. And I have to say, there are people that do want you to keep coming back. I mean, you've shot quite a few scenes already for Shelby Black at Naughty America.
Yes. I've shot 5 scenes for Shelby Black. So
Elizabeth, what is it that keeps Shelby Black coming back to ask you to shoot?
So I was always taught from when I was really young that if you want to get promoted in a job or get hired, or you got to show up ready and prepared. And I don't want to screw anything up. So I always want to just bring my A game and be the best that I can possibly be. I am always on time. I'm never late. I'm actually early, and I think a little too early sometimes, but that's okay. It's better to be early than late. And I show up prepared. I bring the things that I am told to bring, and I'm organized about it. I tell people, if you want to impress a director, take Polaroids of your lingerie and your outfits. Put your outfits and lingerie in Ziploc bags, and then put the Polaroid in there. And then it's easy for the director to see what you have and easy for them to pick it out.
Oh, wow. That's a super helpful tip.
Yeah. Obviously bring a valid test. Make sure your test is fresh and valid. And I also started this thing, and now I can't live it down. I always bring cookies on set, freshly baked cookies. And now it's like a thing. Like, I have to bring them, because then people are like, where's the cookies? I actually, the last scene I did, it was very last minute, was to fill in for someone who had gotten ill. And I didn't have time to get cookies. And I showed up to set, and everybody's like, where are the cookies? Where are the cookies? I'm like, I'm sorry.
Like, Elizabeth, she'll bring the cookies with her.
Yeah.
That's your name.
Yeah, I won't say the company name, but it's a mom and pop business, and their cookies are insanely good. Insanely good. Like, we had them at our wedding. Like, we had a dessert bar from their company, and everybody's like, yes, you brought the cookies.
Oh, that's so nice. Are you a performer, creator, or company in the adult entertainment industry looking to boost your visibility and reach? Then look no further than Star Factory PR. Star Factory PR is the go-to agency for all your publicity needs in the adult entertainment world. With 2 decades of experience and a track record of success, they specialize in elevating your brand and maximizing your exposure. So whether you're a seasoned professional or just starting out, Star Factory PR offers tailored solutions to help you stand out in this competitive industry. So don't miss out on the opportunity to work with the best in the business. Visit their website at starfactorypr.com to learn more and take the first steps towards success. I like it because what you do, all the things, like if a director's listening right now, they're going to be wanting to like hire you. You know,
yes,
everything check, check. And just in case any of the professional directors are listening to this, how can they hire you? Do they hit you up on
You can
Twitter?
hit me up on Twitter. Yep. I'm always on Twitter. I always check my Twitter. I'm on Twitter 24/7. So yeah.
Just give out your Twitter handle while we're here.
It's Liz_Skylar.
Perfect. So if anyone's listening that are professional, I keep saying professional because, you know, we as performers, we do got a lot of guys hitting us up. And it's difficult because it's like, you've got to know what your branding is. So, you know, because there will be other people that will be listening and be like, you're going to get hit up by guys that don't have anything, like they don't have nothing. It's just them and their iPhone. You're going to get hit up by people that might have started an OnlyFans that are also fans. You're going to get hit up by people that might have clip stores, professional directors. And I'm sure that you get all of them. So how do you handle when something might come through that you think that is not with my branding?
Oh, I hate to say it like this, but well, I'm never rude. I hate being mean to people, even when it's warranted. Like I hate confrontation. I hate that. So I will just kick the can down the road type of thing. And I'll be like, well, I'm kind of booked, or, which can be truthful. Most of the time I'll be like, or if they're just straight up, just like, I've had a lot of people that have no social media, no nothing. They just think because they've got, you know, they're well endowed down below that they can just shoot, and I'm like, no, that's not how it works. Like, and I'll just tell people, who you don't have any fans. Where's your social media stuff? And they're like, oh, and I'm like, no, I'm sorry. Like, with some people, I'll kick the can down the road type of thing, which I know that's horrible to say, but I'm never mean like, I would never want to work with you. Like, it's just like, I'll be like, oh, like right now I'm kind of busy, or, which is so bad because I'm such a people pleaser. Like, I want to make everybody happy, but can't make everybody happy, I guess.
Yeah, you can't. And you know, it's good to know like who you want to work with before you start letting them hit you up, because then you can be like, hey, when you're sitting there and they're coming in, you can be like, that's a possible, that's a definite no, that's a definite yes. And you can kind of in your mind be like, okay, well, maybe when you say kick the can down the road, it might be something maybe in the future that you might want to come back to.
Yeah.
You know?
But it's amazing, like how many people like hit me up that are like, think because you have sex for a living and that you're a porn star that you're automatically going to be like, yeah, I'll shoot content with you. And I'm like, no, that's not how it works. Like, you know, definitely. And so, and I do an extensive amount of research before I collab with anyone. I Google. I'll look at everything possible. And if I think that it's not the right thing for me,
no, it's a no. But I like that because, you know, we are in a really good position where we can pick and choose who we want to collaborate with.
Yep.
For me, I don't shoot for the production companies. I did all that a long time ago. So now if you want to see all my brand new content, it's on my OnlyFans. I do have a ManyVid store that there's some on there. And I also have Sex Panther. So, the people can go there and that's where they can find it. And so for me, I pick and choose the people I want to collaborate with. Some of it's based on who my fans are asking me to work with.
Yes.
And some of it's based on personal relationships. If I feel like I've got really good chemistry with somebody, then I will shoot with them. And sometimes I will literally hit people up because I think I would like to shoot with them. Or I think my fans would like me to shoot with them. And I will hit people up and, they don't always look in the inbox, but, when they do, it's like, it's a match and we're on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
yeah. I have a lot of people that will reach out. Can you collab with this person or that person? And I actually had someone ask me today and I didn't even know who they were. And I Googled them and I said, okay, well, maybe that's a possibility. So
it's nice to get little ideas.
Yeah.
The adult entertainment industry, it fosters like camaraderie. So what makes it a supportive and welcoming environment for you, and how have your experiences been with your colleagues?
Amazing. Again, I have always had this preconceived notion like, oh my God, like before I got into porn, like, oh my God, everybody's probably a bitch and, just this and that. And that is so not the case. So everybody that I have worked with has been so sweet and welcoming and professional, and just everybody is so nice. I do not have a bad experience with anybody that I've worked with. And I can say that with confidence. Everybody's just been so sweet. And I think it's because everybody's in the same boat and, and it's been great. So that's what makes me keep wanting to do this is, I love my job and I love the people that I work with. So yeah.
It is. It's like a fun day. It's when we go to shoot, if everyone's like professional, amazing, fun, it makes the day, it goes super fast and you get a lot of content from it and a lot of creativity that the fans are going to really appreciate.
Yeah, it's great. And I feel like I always have so much in common with everybody that I work with too. And a lot of people that I have worked with, I have become really good friends with, and I talk to them on a day-to-day basis. So I feel like those are my people. Yeah, like us. And I feel like I don't know. I feel like this is kind of hard. Like, this is kind of bad to say, but I feel like anybody who's not in the industry, it's like, I feel like I don't really have much is like in common with. And I'm like, okay, what do I talk to you about? I know that's really bad to say, but I don't know.
It's not really bad to say. It's, if we're working out in the gym together and we want to talk about work, we can really, we do it on the quiet and we kind of use a lot of like PG words, what we're talking about, but we can still have a conversation. And like you was texting me the other day and you was asking me a question. You'd be like, hey, I have this question. Like, what do you think? And I was like, okay, this is what I think. And you can ask people. And I think it's really hard that, like, I do have friends and there are like other mum friends, other colleagues, other people I go out and about. And a lot of people, I see people, I say hi to people, but they know me as my non-working persona. And you can't really have conversations. Hey, I've got this discussion about work. What do you think? And you can't have that conversation with most other people.
Yeah. And that's one thing is I'm the type of person, my personality is I like to get everything out there. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I like to talk about my thoughts and my feelings and my emotions. And I can't have a porn conversation with a normal person. I can't do that. So I feel like, talking to people who are also in the industry helps me get my my stress out. It's like therapy for me, and I can and talk to people. And I only have one friend that knows what I do, but is not in the industry. And so I'll talk to her about it. And I feel like she's the only one that I can talk to.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And your husband as well.
Yeah. And my
Of
husband.
course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And we briefly spoke about the content creation. So I just want to circle back to that. What's your process for deciding what to shoot, and how do you keep your content engaging and unique for your fans?
So I try not to repeat the same like co-stars unless I really really get along with them and I really like them, then I'll work with them again. Which
Or they convert really well with your fans?
yeah, I shouldn't say it like that because I get along with everybody that I've worked with, but like you said, like earlier, there's a vibe with some people, and I want to experience that vibe again. But so I try to keep everybody on their toes, like, oh, this is a new, fresh person. So I'll reach out to them and be like, hey, we'll agree to collab, we'll agree on a day, and for the most part, I let it just kind of happen organically. Like it's been very few instances where someone wants it a certain way, and I'm not opposed to that at all. Like for example, Brad Newman, great guy, has a videographer that is super artistic and creative, and had a certain vision for our collab, and I'm totally okay with doing that. But I usually kind of we set up cameras or phones and we just let it roll.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's like just giving them something different, being creative.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and I usually will, like, I'll always have a conversation beforehand with the person I'm collabing with, just to we get to know each other better and everything like that. And then it just usually flows from there.
I like.
Yeah. So.
And so you've got your work, you've got your work life going on, but you've also got a personal life.
Yeah.
You're a wife, you're a mother, and having this other career can be challenging. So how do you manage the balance, and what advice do you have for other people that might be in similar situations?
It's sometimes in the beginning, it was really stressful. And it kind of still is, because my family does not know what I do. I should say my parents do not know what I do. My sister does not know what I do. No one knows what I do. So it's hard to be like, do porn and then shut it off. Porn and then shut it off. So it's kind of hard, but try not to stress about it too much. I always have me time, whether it's like a nice relaxing shower or a nice workout session or whatever it is, just to decompress and not feel so stressed. And I've also told my husband too, like, I love porn and everything, but I don't want to talk about it 24/7. So I'll make it a point that like we'll have like little dinner dates out, or we'll have little like dates in bed. We'll watch a movie and just stuff like that. And so that to me is to kind of escape.
Yeah, I like that. And that, that leads me on to asking, because it sounds like your husband is amazing. I know he's amazing. So being married, you've spoke a little bit about, how does he support you in your personal life and your career, and how has your relationship evolved, because it's, It for people that are listening, they're like, wow, he went to your first, threesome. Wow, he's there, helping you, advising you. So people listening in, they might be like, that's strange. For us, it's not.
Yeah. For me, it's not. In the beginning, he goes, look, I'm not going to lie. This is a little new for me. This is a little, I'm a little nervous, like, and he said in the beginning, he never got jealous or anything, but he's watching another man have sex with me. I mean, that's jarring. I have shown him that it's okay. Like, I haven't given him any like thing where he's like, oh, I don't want you doing this because I think that you're going to fall for another guy. Like, it's strictly business. I do my
Yeah.
collabs or I do my shoots and I go home to him, and
Yeah.
I love him, and I don't let my porn career mix with our relationship. And he is my number one supporter. He's always like, you look so pretty, or oh, you did such a good job, or he's never like negative. Like, he's never like, oh God, you shouldn't have done that, or this or that. He's just always like, oh my God, you did so good in this, and I like the way your butt looks in this, or I like the way your boobs look in this. And he's such a good guy. So
That's so nice, because it's important, isn't it, that this is a career that not everyone can get into. It's not for everybody.
yeah.
Life changes, and you are also now on camera. Like, we both have children,
Yes.
and we're not the only parents that, are content creators that
Yeah.
put out videos and pictures of us naked online. We are not the only people. You've got to remember that at some point, people are going to know,
Yeah.
And
I'm bracing for impact. I literally told that to my husband the other night. Like, everybody I talk to, everybody's like, well, does your family know? And I'm like, no, not yet. And they're like, well, at some point it is going to happen. And I'm bracing for impact. I'm just like, because it's going to come around, so I don't know when.
But you know what? Your husband is totally supportive, and you're gonna go through it.
Yeah.
You're gonna come out the other side, and it's amazing that you have a really good support system there for you.
Yeah, he definitely goes to bat for me a lot, and he defends me a lot. And so I have no doubt in my mind that if someone tries to say something negative, like, oh, how could you be doing this? He'd be like, well, look, it's one thing if your partner doesn't agree with you doing that, then obviously, but he's 100% on board with it. So yeah.
It's the best thing. And I know that you're an advocate for mental health.
Yes.
So would you be open to sharing some of your personal journey? And particularly, I know you mentioned to me about postpartum depression.
I've kind of dealt with it my entire life. I have had anxiety and depression my entire life, but it really reared its ugly head after I had my first child. And there was a lot of contributing factors to that. I was young. I got pregnant at 20. I had my first when I was 21. I literally moved out of my parents' house to the house I'm in now, had never lived on my own, had never been on my own. And then I have my child a month early. Like, my water literally broke in the middle of the night on the toilet. I went to the hospital. My doctor happened to be there. He had just finished a C-section, and he goes, let's put you into a C-section. I had to anyway because my child was breech. So I had to go into a C-section. So the trauma of that, and then, as you know, being in the hospital, you don't get any sleep. I tell people, now I know why people give birth at home, because it's insane. You've got the nurses assistants, visitors, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You have the tests. You have pediatricians, your OB. You have all this crap.
The cleaners coming in. I can remember when I'm there, and it's a newborn baby, and it's like they gotta feed, and okay, I want to breastfeed him. I wanted to breastfeed him. Okay. So then the nurse comes in, the breastfeeding specialist, they come in, they're helping you. And then literally, as soon as you shut your eyes, someone else is coming in, and you're like, to the point where I said, can you just go away? I need some sleep. And it was the woman that was asking me for me food, and I got no food.
Oh, it was so bad. The first time, I kept telling my mom, I'm like, Mom, I'm like, I'm hallucinating because I have not gotten any sleep. And then you got the lactation consultant coming in. And I always tell people this story. The lady's name was Jolly. Okay. She was a lactate. Oh, my name is Jolly. And I'm like, "Ugh, ugh," because she's like, and I'm like, oh my God. And then so the second time around, it was really bad because, long story short, my brother-in-law passed away very unexpectedly. He took his life, which is another reason why I'm a big advocate for mental health. And so I was in this horrible, horrific, painful labor process, and it was a month early. And so then I had a bunch of people from out of state that I had never even met before coming in to see me in the hospital. And I'm basically like hallucinating with my child. I had no sleep. It was so bad. But after both children, I experienced really bad postpartum depression, horrific panic attacks, horrific anxiety, really bad depression. The first time around, it was really bad because I didn't know what it was. I didn't know how to handle it. And I struggled with it every day, all day. It was like torture for a year. And there was at one point where I literally went to the doctor's office and I just burst out crying because I'm like, I can't handle this anymore. I've had no relief. And thank God someone referred me to an amazing psychiatrist. He's since retired, but he's amazing. And he got me on the right medication. And he, let me know that I wasn't alone and that what I was experiencing was normal. Like, I thought I was this freak that was like, that no one was going through this, that I was this monster, like this horrible person for experiencing this depression. And, because I was not interested in anything. I wasn't interested in my child. I wasn't interested in my husband. Like, I was just kind of like existing. So when I finally got the right help, my life was like a 180. And and unfortunately since then I've lost a lot of people I know to suicide. So I always tell people, please, please, please speak up if you are experiencing things like depression, anxiety, panic attacks, because you are not the only one. And I guarantee you there will be people to help you out. Please, please, please. It's the most important thing in the world. And I really, really wish that my brother-in-law would have reached out to me and said something, because I would have gotten him help. There's so many things. And that's the thing is too, people think, oh, I don't know where to go. Literally just talk to people. Like, I know that sounds silly, but just like I would just talk randomly to people. Like I'd talk to my dad, like, oh my God, or like, just, my neighbor, oh my God. And it helps.
Sometimes just getting something off your chest. For me, I remember like when my little boy was born, and all my family live in the UK, and it's not easy. Like, there you are with a baby. I think at one point I had a doula come in, just like, I don't know how to dress my baby. I don't know how to do anything. And she was really super helpful, so nice, like a local lady. And then after that, I ended up getting someone to come in to kind of help, because it's so hard. You don't get any sleep. I literally would get up, and every day I would go and do something. We did the fitness classes for mums. We did breastfeeding support group, and to the point where he was probably too old to go to breastfeeding support group. And sometimes we'd go there and it wasn't even his feeding time. And there I am sitting with him at breastfeeding support class, because I just wanted to get out. I just wanted to talk to people. I didn't want to be by myself in the house. Like, no, I just wanted to just get out and see the fresh air. And I believe that we are all here for a reason in life, to experience life and to make better choices and to learn lessons. And it's so sad that people feel that they have no other choice but to take their own life. And, you know,
Yeah.
I seriously, I also believe in the afterlife. But, you know, a lot of people, we
I
have
do too.
different beliefs. We have different beliefs. But I think when someone, their life ends traumatically, there must be a lot of trauma and healing that they have to do the other side.
Yeah.
And it feels like it might be the only option, but it's not. And
Yeah.
if anyone's listening right now, please, there are
Please.
stuff online. You can Google support.
Yeah. You can, there's apps, there's websites. Even if you have to go to the hospital, I guarantee you there will be help for you.
Yeah.
There's, and that was when I had my babies, like everybody was like, just get out and talk to people. And just like, I would take walks just to get out in the
Yeah.
fresh air. And, like I would go to Gymboree all the time and then another thing for me
Groups.
is I was a very young mom. And so all my friends had not been married yet. They had not had kids. And so I was like the only one. So I was like alone. And I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, it was a very difficult time. So the second time around when it happened to me, I knew exactly what to do. And I
Yeah.
was put on the correct medication. And that's another thing is I am a big advocate for medication when it's prescribed correctly and appropriately.
Mhm.
A lot of people are like, oh no, medication's bad for you. If it works for you, then take it.
Yeah.
Like, if it helps you, like, why not take it? Why suffer?
Yeah.
Just because Joe Schmo says it's bad for you and that it, could do this to you and the whatever. You know what? I rather be happy than be miserable. So,
Yeah. That's a good point.
yeah.
Like, seek advice, talk to people, and, you know, if the medication, if it feels right and it's prescribed by your doctor, and you have a full open discussion about it, the pros, the cons, the side effects, then it's making an informed choice.
Yeah. And I also tell people to do your research because unfortunately there are doctors that just will throw whatever at you and then you take it and it's not the right fit for you. And then you're starting to feel weird things. And I always tell people, go with your gut. If it's not right, bother people, say, hey, this is not right for me. Let's try something else. And sometimes that happens. It takes a few tries. My psychiatrist told me, he goes, sometimes it takes a few tries for us to get it right. What works for you? Because not
Yeah.
everybody's brain chemistry is the same. So
Yeah.
yeah.
We're all different.
Yeah.
And thank you. I love that you're an advocate, and people that are listening, please seek advice. You're not alone.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You're not alone. Oh, you know what? It's crazy how many people I talk to that have anxiety and depression and are like, oh my God, you have it too. I'm like, at this point now, I think everybody has it. Like it's a very common thing and it's normal. And, like when my brother-in-law, he had a traumatic accident and he ended up losing his leg and he was having horrific panic attacks in the hospital. And he's like, oh my God, oh my God. He goes, I'm not normal. I'm like, yes, you are. I'm like, this is literally your body responding to the trauma. And it's okay to feel those type of things.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Yeah.
And I know I'm really conscious that we're right at the end, but I do want to say I'm going to have to I'm going to ask you what is one of the biggest achievements in your career so far?
Ooh, definitely working for Naughty America and Brazzers.
Nice.
Yes.
And I want to say congratulations because you did get your very first nominations as well.
I did. So I got my nominations. Fleshbot nominated me for Best Ass and Best New Starlet. The results came out last night. I don't know if you caught that.
I did.
I didn't win, but that's okay. I'm honored that I was just even nominated. That's a huge deal. So
Yes.
totally cool with that. So
it's amazing. And I'm so happy for you because, you know, it is a big deal. You've just got into the industry. In terms of the professional companies, you're being recognized, and these are fans, these are voters, these are industry, and you are being recognized. So this is amazing, and you know, we all feel very proud for you, Elizabeth.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah. So what are your future goals and ambitions in the adult entertainment industry, and how do you plan to keep growing your brand and your fan base?
So I want to do more of the same, keep reaching out to people. I definitely would like to shoot for Brazzers more. I've only shot for them once. So Brazzers, if you're hearing this, I would love to shoot for you. And keep working for Naughty America. I truly love working for Naughty America. They're great. I like that it's always something new. Like every time I'm on set, they're like, okay, this is what this is today. And I get to wear different things and play different roles. And I love that. And it's always fun getting your hair and your makeup done on set too.
It makes us feel
and then I have to do it. That's always fun. And so I always tell people, you know, I just keep a positive attitude and a good work ethic and just keep grinding and hustling and doing more shoots.
I like it. I was going to ask you for your wrap up, but you just told us the wrap up.
Yeah,
that's what you need to do.
Yeah. You know, a lot of people don't realize that, especially when you have an OnlyFans, we work 24/7. We really do. We're checking messages, we're posting, we're doing customs for people. Like, it does not stop. I think maybe 2 times out of the whole year I don't go on, and that's usually Christmas Eve and Christmas.
Yeah.
And even then I go on to answer because people are like,
check, like, someone's wishing me happy Christmas. I gotta wish them back. Like they might not be, no one might be talking to them today. That's what I always think. You know, someone's on their OnlyFans on Christmas Day. I'm like, well, maybe they just want to talk to someone.
Yeah.
It's like, I'll still go on, say hi.
Yeah.
So, Elizabeth, you've been amazing. This is great. You know, you sharing your journey, your story, how you got into the adult entertainment industry and how you're making it a success. Yes. And I hope that people that are listening, they're going to be supporting you. And if anyone's inspired, you know, check out Elizabeth Skylar, because, you know, you've showed us that it can be done. Yes. And where can people find you and follow you online?
So you can find me on Twitter, which is Liz_Skylar. You can find me on OnlyFans, which is Elizabeth Skylar X. You can find me on ManyVids under the same name, and you can find me on Sex Panther, also under the same name. So
perfect. So thank you so much for your time, and thank you for coming on the Skinfluencer Success podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
This is Tanya Tate. Skinfluencer Success. Visualize your success. Build your brand.